What is going on, guys? Michael with MMA Island back. We're got the fight picks, man. We're trying to get these videos out earlier, so hopefully you're seeing this a little bit earlier. We're recording this, Tuesday night, so hopefully you guys are seeing this earlier than usual. We want to make it speedy. We want to get the picks in, and we want to get the picks out, so I'm going to go first. If I can just get this open. Oh, I'm talking about how speedy I want this to be, and I don't even have my picks open. Wow.
Oh.
So the first fight of the night, if it decides to load, and it's loading, and it's working. Okay, Hubbard is getting a replacement for the fight because his opponent fell out, and it's going to be the undefeated. What is he? 5-0.
Yep.
Max
all submissions.
Roseville. All submissions. I think 4 in the first round.
Yep. 1 second.
And then 1 in the second. So this dude is a beast of the amateur leagues, and now he's in the UFC. So this is going to be a big test for him. This man's got 4 straight first round submissions. So clearly he is a guy that people should be watching. Going up against Austin Hubbard. Tough fight, man. Honestly, I do think I'm going to have to go with Roseville on this one. I'm going to keep talking about the UFC calculator. I think his grappling ability is just very, very good. I know Hubbard's only been submitted once in his career. I just think this dude's gonna find a way, and I do think that he can submit Hubbard. The calculator has it at a 57% chance, but I got Roseville winning this one, and I'm gonna say it'll be a second round submission. We'll say.
So I watched a lot of Max Roseville fight tape today, and I gotta say, I was really impressed. This guy has, with the great grappling ability, he has legit power in his hands. I watched this fight today. His name was Omar, his opponent. I forget his last name, but as soon as the fight happened, he just dropped him. And once he got onto the ground, this guy is a nightmare. And also, he has amazing wrestling ability, which we've seen. Marco Madsen did that too. Even though Marco Madsen's a great, Olympian-level wrestler, it still shows the wrestling.
Well, Max is a collegiate-level, standout.
Yeah, it shows the kind of the weakness of the takedown defense of Austin Hubbard. Now, Austin Hubbard, I think, might have a bit of a striking advantage because, he's had a full camp for this, and he has a cardio advantage because he trains at Cardio King's Elevation Fight Team. But I do think that the fact that this is a short notice fight, he's going to have a different game plan for Joe Selecki, his original opponent, than he would for Roseville. I think Roseville takes this one. I just think his ground game is too good.
Wow, we're all taking the newcomer. That's interesting. Mm-hmm. I will say, I don't think just because someone trains at a high altitude cardio camp means they definitely have a cardio advantage. I would say that's not a safe assumption because just because you go to 3-point fucking camp in the off season doesn't mean you're gonna be the best 3-point shooter in the league.
Yeah. Question: have you ever seen a fighter from Elevation Fight Team that did not have good cardio?
I'm just saying you can't you can't say that he definitely has better cardio, because what if Max gasses him? You're gonna look foolish.
He didn't gas against Madsen.
I'm just saying, if Max goes into this fight and gets another first round submission, man, this dude will be someone to watch out for, because if he can do it not only but in the amateur leagues but in the UFC, man.
I'm just saying, I don't think it's smart to blanket statement people just because of where they train. Austin has had cardio he's shown his cardio before. I'm not saying that he doesn't have it. I'm just saying I wouldn't say he has an advantage because I haven't seen a lot of Max, and no one has. There's only been a limited room to see him. So that being said, from what I have seen, he is impressive. Just like you said, Zach, I watched a little tape too. And I have him in a submission, but I don't know what round. I'll go early. I'll go round 1. Fuck it. Oh. I think that Austin Hubbard's a beast, but he's got this leg problem that he was dealing with a fight or two ago that really scares me. And it's called chamber or something or another. And he's really tough and hard nosed. I think this newcomer might come in and finesse him.
Okay, well, so I think this is unanimous here. I also have Max. I was looking at
Underdog Island in the flesh.
Yeah, so I was looking at their I remember Austin fought Marc Madsen there, and he did all right. I think he won the 3rd round, but I don't know. He has been submitted before. Max guy is a beast on the ground. I think, if I remember correctly, he had all 5 of his wins were by submission, or 4 out of 5.
All 5.
All 5.
It's an amateur fight with
yeah, I really think
stoppage in the first round.
Yeah, all of them were in the first round.
Yep.
All but one.
All but one. So I really feel like this dude is just gonna come out here and make a statement in his debut, and I'm gonna also go with the submission, probably in the second. I'm gonna go with the second though, not the first. I'll go with the second round.
All right. Well, leads it to the next fight of the night, and that will be
Lauren Murphy. Sorry to lead so contrarian, Zach. I didn't mean it to sound so aggressive.
Okay.
That was just a thought that I was having, and then it came across so opposition.
No, we need this back and forth. It makes the shows interesting.
God, I don't know why you guys are so small on my bubbles. I can only see Michael. Like.
Would you mind not remarking on my size anymore?
It should be good.
It's a great sensitive subject for me.
I'm sorry, man. I apologize. I won't do it again.
So we're going with the next fight is Lauren, Where You At, George Murphy, and Roxanne Modafferi.
Oh, God.
Roxanne Modafferi comes in favorite on my betting site, at least. My betting site has her at a 1.95 multiplier for if you bet on Lauren Murphy. I'm weird. I don't go by negative and all that. I'm weird.
I go by.
The point is Modafferi's the favorite. With this one here, it's kind of weird because I'm just gonna say it. I'm picking a lot of underdogs in this card, and I was kind of shocked by how many underdogs that I was going to be picking. But so I got Lauren Murphy winning this one. I just think that she's got a pretty prominent striking advantage. I do like Roxanne Modafferi. I really do. I think she's very, very good. I just think this is a kind of a bad matchup for her because Lauren Murphy is pretty well rounded. She's not the greatest offensive grappler, but she does have pretty high takedown defense, and I do see her being able to stay away from Roxanne Modafferi's takedowns and kind of just push the striking game. So yeah, I got the upset. I'm gonna take Lauren Murphy by decision. And the UFC calculator has it at a 65% chance for Lauren Murphy.
What? Interesting. You see, Lauren Murphy did not impress me. Well, I think she's coming off a loss, and the Houston judges gave the fight to her. But let's keep it 100. She lost to Andrea Lee.
I agree.
She lost that fight. No one can say anything otherwise except for Joe Solis, but we know all about Joe Solis. You see, the thing is with Lauren Murphy, yes, she does have a solid striking game. She does have the advantage. But Roxanne Modafferi is not a slouch on the feet. She could hang with Macy Barber on the feet. Macy Barber hits a lot harder. Maybe doesn't have the technique of Lauren Murphy, but she hits a lot harder. And if the fight goes to the ground, well, we saw what Roxanne could do on the ground. She is a beast there. And I think Lauren Murphy has nothing for Roxanne Modafferi on the ground. If it goes to the ground, she's getting submitted. And the thing is, Roxanne Modafferi has fought higher caliber strikers than Lauren Murphy. I mean, she beat Antonina Shevchenko, who is an amazing purebred kickboxer. And Lauren definitely has a higher striking pedigree than Lauren Murphy, in my opinion. She destroyed Antonina Shevchenko. And I just think overall, Modafferi has more ways to win. Lauren Murphy is going to have to outpoint Roxanne Modafferi to win. I don't think she can get a knockout. So point fighting, I just don't think it's happened. I'm going to take Roxanne Modafferi. I think I see an equal likeliness between a second-round submission and a unanimous decision.
Nice. Off of that, I think, tangentially, Macy Barber outstrikes Lauren Murphy if they fought.
Me too.
I think she beats her up.
Mentioning the Roxanne Modafferi Macy Barber fight, I think Macy Barber's leg played a big part in that one.
Me too.
Absolutely. Without
like,
question.
Did she tear her ACL or some shit?
Yeah. Bad.
Really bad. Injury.
I think Roxanne Modafferi is, I don't think she has been very up and down her whole career as far as like 5-fight losing streaks and then a 2-fight win streak and then like win, lose. So pattern wise, she should lose given her last 7 fights. The last 6 fights, it goes loss, win. But I think that Roxanne is just going to beat her everywhere, and I think she's going to get a round 2 TKO ground and pound.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you good? Should I go next? Or?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he had anything else to add. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and let Michael be the lone wolf on this one. I think I'm gonna go with Roxanne Modafferi as well. Because like Zach said, I don't think that Lauren's like. I think that Roxanne has fought better strikers, and I think that Lauren definitely lost her last fight. I think she arguably lost to what's that girl's name? The girl she fought in the tough finale.
Sajara Eubanks?
No, she fought someone else. Hold on. Barb something. Barb
Barb Honchak?
Honchak, yeah. I wasn't 100% sure how to pronounce the last name. Yeah. I kind of think she lost that fight too. I think that Roxanne is usually able to put a pretty good pace, like pretty high output, and good ground and pound, good ground game. So yeah, I just see her grinding this one out.
Wait, I'm confused. What can you repeat what you said about the Barb Honchak thing? I just don't want to miss.
I just said I thought that Barb won that fight. I kind of thought it was another split decision that Lauren Murphy got. And,
no. It was a TKO with elbows.
Hold up.
What? Hold on.
No, it was a decision win against Barb.
Oh, no, the most recent time they fought. I'm sorry, never mind.
Oh, yeah, they fought in the tough finale. They fought in the tough finale, the 125 girls. I was like, fuck, did I fuck that? Okay.
How many times have they fought? We're talking about Roxanne Modafferi, yeah?
No.
Lauren
Murphy and Barb Honchak, Ultimate Fighter 26.
Disregard.
Yeah,
Disregard.
Sorry. I meant Murphy. I thought Murphy kind of lost that one, the Barb. So yeah, I feel like Lauren's got a couple wins that she really shouldn't have gotten. And yeah, I just see Roxanne grinding out a decision. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. I'll be the lone wolf. I had no problem with it.
This next fight's gonna be good.
Bola and Camacho going in against each other. This is a good fight in my opinion.
I like that one.
A lot of crazy factors going in this one. I honestly think I'll probably take Frivola winning this one. He's also the favorite. I don't know, man. I just think he's kind of a little bit more well-rounded. I think Camacho also hasn't really had the greatest of recent fights. I'll pull up his Sherdog here in a second, but I just think Frivola's got this one. He's got the one loss. Did he get knocked out?
Yep.
He got
round one by Polo Reyes.
Yeah, Marco Polo Reyes. His only loss. He hasn't had the greatest of wins since then, but I don't know, man. I just think he's got this one against him. His Camacho's last fight was a rear naked choke loss against Beneil Dariush. He's also got losses against guys who are very, very good. Beneil Dariush, Jeff Neal, Drew Dober, Li Jinglang. Those are big names, but I just think Frivola's got this one. I don't know, man. I just think he's a little bit more well-rounded, and I think he's just gonna find a way. But I'll put it to decision.
So what Matt Frivola brings into fights is, he's decent on the feet, but what he's really good at is his wrestling. He finds a way to take down everyone. Now, what Frank Camacho does is he gets in your face and he swings. He doesn't care if he gets hit. I mean, he deals 6.68. He lands that many significant strikes per minute and gets landed 7.14. Gets hit that many times per minute. 7.14 significant strikes per minute. So he is in your face. He is swinging. Matt Frivola hasn't really faced that style before, and Matt Frivola's style kind of dictates that he needs to be the one pressing forward. He hasn't really been against a guy who's going to back him up to the cage constantly and be in his face with that forward pressure. Now, Frank Camacho is that guy. He has that legit power, and his only losses are solid efforts against some of the biggest names that aren't. I mean, Dariush ranked, Jeff Neal ranked, Drew Dober ranked. Li Jinglang, not ranked right now, but he was at one point. Like, these guys are huge, and he put up solid performances against all of them except for Dariush. That fight was not close. But I do think that with the forward pressure, with the power, and with the striking advantage of Camacho, he should be able to get this fight done, and I think he will knock out Frivola in the second.
Nice. I think that Frivola is going to get a little too hasty with his wrestling, and then Frank is going to live up to his nickname and crank on some body part of Matt Frivola and get a submission. I think he's going to submit Frevola. Because I think that both of those dudes are going to want to fight, and then they're going to hit each other, and they're going to take it to the ground.
Okay.
Like, not that either of those dudes don't like standing and banging, but I just think both of them kind of need a win, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Camacho doesn't, or I mean, Frevola is, he's coming off of 2 wins, but like one was a split decision where people thought he lost. And I just think that in order to take the next step up, he's got to make a statement. So I could see him trying to just beat up Frank on the ground, and then Frank being tricky. Now see, I'm kind of teetering myself onto Frevola's side though, because Frevola does have the advantages almost everywhere, in my opinion.
On the ground, yeah.
Well, like, I just, like, physically, like, athletically, like, just things like that, in my opinion, from what I've seen of both of them. I got Camacho. I'm gonna stick with it. But I'll go decision. I don't want to call a submission. I'll go decision.
All right. So once again, Michael, I think I'm gonna leave you as the. Yeah, Zach. Pretty much everything Zach said. I was gonna say yes. Camacho has quite a few losses, but they were to some pretty good guys. Neil, Dariush, Li Jing, whatever fucking his name, the Leech, that guy, and
Dober.
Yeah, those are Drew Dober. Yeah, those are all really like solid guys. Those are all like guys who I think would probably beat Frevola. And I just think Frevola, Jalen Turner, guy he beat recently, who's like 9-5, so not the strongest record. Luis Pena, and I think that was a debatable one as well. Like, I think.
Very.
What do you guys? Do you guys think Pena won that? I don't know. It was close.
I did. I had it live scored for Pena.
Yeah, and fucking what's the name of the guy? Polo Reyes, 8-7. So, and he got knocked out. So I think just going off, I'm kind of a stat guy. I look at stats. I look at past opponents, and I think that the logic for me has got to. I'm a little surprised Frevola is the favorite because I got Camacho with TKO second round, like Zach. Yeah, I'm going with the finish here.
I'm straight down the middle on this fight. I'm super not confident in my pick.
I'm fairly confident, actually.
This is one I'm kind of not confident about as well. But I didn't say it, but the UFC calculator has it at 59% for Frevola.
Really? God, that calculator is interesting. I don't know how that.
I mean, that makes all the sense in the world to be.
I mean, it's close. It's like
59% though. That it had the same as Nunes for Felicia. It had it 59%, which is
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I don't.
All right, that's it for me. Guys.
I mean, that's Canada math.
I'll have a good. Just see you guys later. The calculator's doing pretty good, so.
Yeah. No, it is.
Don't worry about the percentages. They get the fights right.
Yeah, it gets the fights right most of the time. So I guess that's all that matters.
This guy gets to use a fucking calculator. It's bullshit.
Most of it is my opinion. Like I do put my gut into it a little bit, and I
joking.
So moving into the next fight, we go to the flyweight division. Cordy Casey fought recently. Jillian Robertson's last fight was against Macy Barber, which got TKO'd. Pretty sure as well. So it's Cordy Casey and Jillian Robertson. Cordy Casey also obviously submitted Mara Rubella, whatever, in the last fight that she had, which was a couple weeks ago, actually.
That was her flyweight debut, right?
I think so, yeah. Was it?
I'm not sure.
She was strawweight for a long time.
Yeah, I think honestly, I'm gonna lead with Courtney Casey here, who I think is an underdog. Yes, Courtney Casey is an underdog going into this one.
Shocking.
And I'll take Courtney Casey with this one. I just think she's probably a harder hitting and got more submissions and all that. I don't know. I just think she's more well-rounded in the finishing department. So I'm gonna lead with Casey in this one. Getting off a big win against Roseville in the first round. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Casey on this one. No, I'm probably just gonna say second round submission.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to agree. Now, Jillian Robertson, what she showed in the Macy Barber fight is she doesn't really look like she likes to get hit.
Yeah.
Like every time Macy Barber would hit, it would be like she would cover up. like this, she would seem like very, very uncomfortable. Maybe because, Macy Barber hits pretty hard for the division, but I think I watched some of her past fights, and she has a tendency to do that too. And Cordy Casey has a huge advantage on the feet here. Now, a lot of recency bias will make you think that Cordy Casey has the ground advantage. I would not say so. Jillian Robertson's bread and butter is her wrestling and her submissions. But the question is if she can get it there and hang with Cordy Casey there. I don't think so. I think Cordy Casey is too much on the feet for Jillian Robertson. I think her defense is not going to hold up, and I'm going to go Cordy Casey by... let's just say a decision. But I would not be surprised if it is a TKO.
I've also got Cordy Casey by decision. I think that Jillian Robertson is going to get outclassed, but I think she's going to be just good enough to not get finished this time.
Yeah, this is a tough. Tough one for me. Kind of going into the picks, I was leaning towards Robertson, but you guys made some good points. And I also, Cordy Casey had a pretty good run at strawweight. She's fought some pretty elite fighters and has hung in there with all of them. And I think, and I really like Zach's point about the covering up for Jillian. I don't think she likes to get hit at all. And that's worrisome because Courtney's a pretty good striker. And yeah, I think Courtney will be able to hang with her on the ground. Like Jillian might get some takedowns, but I don't really see her being able to keep Courtney there or do too much. So yeah, I might edge Courtney with like pretty close decision. That would be my pick.
All right, so we're good. We're going to the next one on the card, and it will be a middleweight matchup of Marc-Andre Barreau versus Oscar Pichota. It is going to be, what you look at, it looks like it's a mirror image match from like stance-wise for like where they at in their career. Marc Barreau is 11
they have the exact same amount of pro fights.
Yeah, and Oscar
and two guys who were lost 3 straight.
One draw.
3 straight,
they're
right?
both on three fight losing streaks. The thing that makes this different for me, I'm going to lead with Marc-Andre Barreau in this one, the fellow Canadian. I'm going to say he wins this one, not only because, so looking at Pichota's lost his last 3 all by finish. And both of them, all 3 of them actually, were in the first 2 rounds. So, and then moving on to Marc-Andre Barreau, he's lost his 3 by all by decisions. One of them was a split as well. So, and obviously Marc-Andre Barreau has the power advantage, in my opinion, even at least. I just see him pushing the pace in this one, and I'm honestly gonna go with Marc-Andre Barreau with a first round knockout in this one. And the UFC calculator has this one as a 54% chance, and it's weird because another thing is Barreau is the underdog in this one as well.
So the thing about Barreau and Pichota's streaks is that they're not comparable. Pichota's last 3 losses are to Gerald Meerschaert, solid. Rodolfo Vieira, absolute BJJ wizard, right? Yeah. And then you had Punahele Sorehano, who is this huge, super prospect in the middleweight division. Now, Barrios lost to Andrew Sanchez, Christoph Yatko, who's on the fringe of being ranked, and Jin Yong Park. Those 3 losses...
The Iron Turtle!
Yeah, they're not comparable in my opinion. So I guess I don't really agree with the finishing point. I just don't enjoy watching Barrios fight. He makes fights really, really unentertaining. He doesn't bring a lot to the table. He has okay striking. He has okay grappling, but he doesn't excel in anything. And I guess Pichota doesn't either, but he is better in striking, I would say. Now, Barrios might have a power advantage, but I think Pichota has a technique advantage. So I think I'm just never excited to watch Barrios fight. He never brings anything exciting to the table, in my opinion. Well, that can change. Anything can change, but I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to say Pichota by decision.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat as you, Zach. I've got Pichota. Is it Pichota? Pichota.
Doesn't matter.
Oscar. I got Oscar middleweight by decision. I think that you're right. On the surface, guys, they're very comparable, but once you actually take a dive into their records and look at what they've done, Marc-Andre Barreau, his opponent quality is super low.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar Pichota has been getting finished, but that shows me one thing. It shows me he's not afraid to take risks, one thing. And that pays off every once in a while. For some fighters, it pays off a lot and often, but other guys, like, you know, they're just like, they get unlucky. They're on, you know, on a downtrodden path. But I think Pichota is going to use his recent adversity as some inspiration and some drive, and I think he's going to get it done over a like a underwhelming but a decent fight. Like, I don't think it's going to be anything special.
All right, so definitely Zach brought some good points. Zach and Slick about you know, maybe quality of opponents a little bit for their last three. But ultimately, I'm going to stick with my original pick going into it. I'm siding with Michael here. Canadian. Yes. Yeah. 2 Canadians picking Canadian. Funny enough. I can't help but look at the decisions versus the, you know, Mark's hit some close fights, and Oscar just got, you know, his ass handed to him pretty much, you know, finished 3 times. And I just think that how low would that make your confidence going into a fight? Being finished 3 times in a row like that, I don't see this one being fireworks or anything like that, but I think, you know, I think Mark's gonna, and if I remember that Jocko fight was really close. Like, you could argue Mark won that one. So I think Mark's probably gonna take it in a close decision.
And this is the thing for me, because like I look at both of how they've lost, and it's not even the matchups and who they've lost. MMA doesn't add up, but I do. The finishes go by submissions for both of Pichota's losses. Yeah. And then Barol's never been finished in a professional career. So Pichota only has 1 decision win. So he's going to have to finish him, and he's going to have to be the first to do it, or else get his first decision win or second decision win. So that's pretty well the only reason I go for it. And I just think he has the advantage in most areas as well.
To be fair, the 2 submissions are probably the 2 best submission artists in the division. But
that's
the whole division?
It's just
it's top 3 is Jacare, Mearshart, and Adolfo Vieira, and he's fought 2 of them.
That leading to your point as well. Like, but Barol has never had a submission, so I mean, I can totally see what you're saying. My point is mostly is that Barol's never been finished. I think that plays a bigger part.
Now that I think about it, middleweight doesn't have any like crazy jiu-jitsu that many crazy jiu-jitsu guys. Like, there's not a ton of. You don't think you see a ton of subs in middleweight, do you? Compared to some other divisions.
Jacare, Shoeface, Adolfo Vieira for sure.
Yeah.
I guess. But those are 3 huge, just like whizzes of BJJ people.
All right, so getting to the next one, we got a women's strawweight matchup of Tecia Torres and Brianna Van Buren. Tecia Torres, obviously, a little bit of a losing streak on her side.
War, man. That's war.
Yeah, man. So it's Tecia Torres. Tecia Torres, man, this is one thing that I think I knew in the back of my mind, but when I looked at it, it kind of was like, whoa.
Yeah.
She's never had a knockout victory, and she's only had 1 submission.
Yeah. But she's never been finished, though, has she?
Finished. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. So she's on a 4-fight losing streak, and again, this is where it's you can't really look at it, because her losses are to former champion Jessica Andrade, former champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk, current champion Weili Zhang, then Marina Rodriguez. So all decisions. So you can't really say, oh, she's totally out of it here. So Tecia Torres has come in as a very big underdog in this one. She's a 2.6 multiplier if you bet on her. And then obviously we got.
Man, I thought I was slick with my pick, but never mind. Damn. I didn't even look at the odds. Fuck.
Yeah, so Brianna Van Buren in this one, she's 9-2. She's coming off she's got a 6-fight win streak going on right now. I just think this one's clear for me. I think the 26-year-old Brianna Van Buren is going to come in here and she's going to want to take out Tecia Torres. I do think it'll be by decision. I just think Brianna Van Buren's just going to make a little bit of a statement against Tecia Torres and kind of be dominant in this one, but I don't think she's going to get a finish. I think she's just going to push the pace. So I got Brianna Van Buren and a pretty high 71% win chance.
Wow, okay. So I'm actually going to disagree with that, and I'm going to go with Tisha Torres. Now, Brianna Van Buren, she's running a 6-5 win streak, but ultimately she's kind of untested. Now, you go through Tisha Torres she's kind of the gatekeeper of that decision, but I think the odds are mainly reflected to her 4-fight losing streak, but those are full, like Weili, Joanna, Andrade champions, and then you have probably the top prospect in the division with Marina Rodriguez, who beat Calvillo for 2 rounds, but got 10-8'd in the third.
I don't think that was a 10. I thought Marina should have won that one.
I agree that she should have won that. And, it's not like she doesn't have it anymore. She's been putting up relatively, she hasn't been getting blown out of the water. And it wasn't like she beat she beat Michelle Waterson only back in 2017. That isn't too long ago. Now, Brianna Van Buren, she had a strong showing against Liviana Souza. Also not world's best. I kind of with these it's really, really easy to get hopped up on these young prospects who are kind of unproven, coming on these massive streaks and
it's my specialty,
going up against veterans who don't really have. But I think the volume striking game that Tisha Torres has found, her good point fighting game, and she can go to the ground as well. I think ultimately Brianna Van Buren's going to get a little headstrong, and I think she's going to get outpointed for a unanimous decision.
A little off topic, but Marina also had a majority draw with Randa Marcos, and I think she won that fight too. I thought it was a while ago, but that's just interesting because she could be 14-0 right now with no draws, but instead she's 12-0 with 2 draws. Just a little something I found interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, it's okay. I've got Brianna Van Buren via early Ronda Rousey. I think she's gonna armbar the fuck out of Tisha Torres.
Really?
Oh yeah. She's training with 2 of the best, or she's training out of the gym that hosts some of the best grapplers in the world. And I'm talking Luke Rockhold. I'm talking Daniel Cormier. I'm talking Khabib Nurmagomedov.
She's big,
I think that she's out of Gilroy, and I just think that they are gonna. I think that she's gonna prepare to just storm through Tisha. I don't know an insane amount about Brianna, but I've looked into her, and she gives me a really good feeling. I think she's gonna pull it off and finish her. I'll go round 1. I call a lot of round 1 submissions.
Yeah.
Also, I want to point this out. This will be one of the first times, one of the very few times that Tisha Torres has ever fought somebody smaller than her.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a big I think it's going to be a good leverage advantage for Brianna because the striking, she's going to try to play a lot of striking first off Tisha because every fight starts on the feet, and I think Brianna's just going to fucking get her on the ground and do some sort of I think she's definitely going to. For some reason, I really think she's going to submit her, but I kind of think it's going to be an armbar. But I never visualize a specific submission, so we'll see if I'm a genius or just stoned.
That is crazy. 4'11". Wow. Is this the first time in Tisha's whole career she's fighting someone shorter than her? Maybe.
Certainly possible.
This is tough because I think all 3 of you have made really good points. But the one, I've been a big fan of Tisha Torres for a long time. Tiny Tornado. I think I really like her.
Talk about alliteration. Tisha Tiny Tornado Torres.
I know. I love it. So I've been a big fan of Tisha for a while, so I'm a little biased on this one. But Zach really made some points that stood out to me about her losing to the best, a lot of, pretty much the best in the strawweight division. 2 former champs.
The
current champ, and a girl who's undefeated.
The top
really arguably could be 14-0. So, I think a lot of people are writing Tisha off here, but this Brianna, she beat Souza, Liliana, I think Liviana Souza. She's pretty good. But then she beat Kaylin Karan before that. Kaylin Karan was cut by the UFC, if I'm not mistaken.
Liliana Lima too.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm gonna go with Tisha here. I really think Tisha's got a lot to. I feel like Tisha's. People are expecting her to maybe just be done at this point, and this girl, the steamroller. But I really think that Tisha. I think it's not going to be that easy. I think that the level of competition could easily end up playing out here, and I think Tisha could edge out a decision.
All right, fair enough. So we lead to the next one, which is a fight that I am very, very excited for.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Every match in this one.
Hold on. Let me. Oh no, we do that at the end. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know what you're
So
gonna
we got.
Yeah, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
We got Clay the Carpenter Guida versus Bobby Green.
Let's go.
This is a great fight for both fighters, in my opinion. Bobby Green has been pretty vocal about how he wants to get a win. He's on a 2-fight losing streak at the moment. Sounds like he's probably still contemplating retirement. People would argue Clay Guida, being 38 years old, should be considering retirement as well. His last win was against BJ Penn. Last win before that was Joe Lauzon in 2017. Yeah. So it's a tough one for me. I think I'm going to go with the big underdog in this one, Clay the Carpenter Guida.
Really?
Okay.
Originally, I was going to go with Bobby Green just because I don't know, man. I just think Bobby Green's very well rounded. He also hasn't had a finish since 2013. And the thing is about Clay Guida is that Clay Guida is obviously older, but he's only 5 years older. So I don't really view that as like a huge, like, oh, we got to make sure about that. Clay Guida's been submitted a pretty decent amount of times in his career.
Especially recently. That was nasty versus Jim Miller.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah, shit.
But honestly, man, I'm just gonna have to go with Clay Guida on this one. I'm a sucker for the veterans. I'm a sucker for the underdogs. So I'm gonna go with Clay Guida on this one, and I'm gonna say it's a pretty exciting fight, and I'm gonna go with the decision.
So Bobby Green, in my opinion, is coming off a win. Now, as much as I love Francisco Trinaldo, I truly believe he did not win that fight. Now, Trinaldo is an excellent striker, and even at the age of 41, he's still bringing it. And Bobby Green beat him in that, and he also beat him in the grappling exchanges. And that's what you'll get a lot from Bobby Green. You get a lot of good striking volume with the occasional takedown here and there. But he also has really, really good takedown defense. Now, with all the fights he's had in his UFC career, he maintains a 74% takedown defense, which is a lot better than the average. Now, Clay Guida, he's not afraid to stand and bang, but he is, at his heart and heart, a wrestler. And if he wants to get a decision win over Bobby Green, I think he knows that he can't trade shots with him. I think Bobby Green is the better striker. He brings the better volume, the better technique, and more power. So I think it depends on Clay Guida's takedowns. But I think at this point in their careers, I think Bobby Green is physically stronger. I think he'll be able to defend the takedowns and get a decision win.
Yeah,
I'm interested to hear the calculator, though, what the percentages were.
Oh, yeah.
Calculator for Guida's at 52%. So it's
wow.
I've got Guida via Wildman next. I don't give a fuck. I don't know how he's gonna win. I don't know when he's gonna win. That's my fucking boy. All right.
Oh man. Okay. Me and Zach tonight. I don't know. We're clicking tonight because I once agree. I once again agree with Zach. I think that Bobby Green has definitely he's lost a lot of his last fights, but the Drakkar close fight, really close fight. No pun intended. Very close fight. I thought close won, but you could argue Green won, and then he fought the Trinaldo one, right? And that was another pretty close fight.
I think it was a robbery, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Bobby Green has pretty decent
Anytime
wrestling.
Francisco gets a decision win, you think it's a robbery. Let's be real.
I thought he got robbed against Alexander Hernandez. That's different.
Oh,
yeah,
you're right. I got confused.
Yeah,
I got
a
that
lot
switch.
of people kind of thought. I don't know if I saw that fight or if I did.
I think that fight was the biggest robbery of the year.
It was
that
terrible.
was 2019, right?
It was atrocious.
That was
Who do you have to add better than Steven?
This one this year?
No. Last year. That was last year.
Yeah, it was 2019.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I don't know if bigger, but Mike Perry, Vicente Luque.
No.
I had Perry winning that one, but I don't think it was on.
I had Luque.
It wasn't on the level.
I thought you were talking about this year, though. I was like, the biggest robbery of this year is fucking Cowboy Pettis.
That was bullshit.
Yeah.
I had
fuck?
Cowboy.
See, I could talk about that I'll get heated if I talk about that, but but yeah, no, ultimately though, I feel I almost want to be crazy and say Bobby Green with the knockout just because Guida's just been around for so long, but the guy's still pretty durable. So I don't.
Yeah. I don't think that's fucking nuts at all.
Yeah. Bobby. The thing is, I look at Bobby's record. He's not got a finish in a long time. So, and Clay Guida's still Clay Guida's not been knocked out since that knee against Brian Ortega in 2016. So he's still pretty durable. I could see Green beating him up a little bit, but ultimately I think I am going to go Bobby Green with the decision. I think his takedown defense will probably hold up, and I think he'll win a pretty clear-cut decision.
All right. So we're moving to the main card at a catchweight. I think it's 150. Is it 150 here?
It would surprise me.
Miller and
Isn't it just a lightweight bout? Both
Yeah,
of
I think
them
it's just
lightweight.
lightweight.
It is catchweight.
It's listed as catchweight for me.
It's catchweight, yeah.
Huh.
Well, either way, we got a battle between Jim Miller and Roseville Roberts. Roseville Roberts obviously got the submission win over Brock Weaver.
It was like a month ago. Not even.
Yeah, no, it's pretty recent. So
like 2 weeks. These guys are fighting so much. Can't believe it.
Yeah, it's, like I was saying to Kama Worthy today in the interview, it's the time for quick turnarounds. So he's looking to get a quick fight. So Jim Miller and Roosevelt Roberts are going in this one. Man, for me, this one is kind of it's kind of clear for me. It's also the highest on the UFC calculator. I think I got Roosevelt Roberts winning this one. I think it's pretty clear for me. Roosevelt Roberts going into this one fresh off a submission victory. I just don't see a way Jim Miller can win this one. He's got submission ability, obviously. I just don't think with Roosevelt Roberts being so tall and so lanky and so big, I just don't see him getting a hold of anything really. I see Roosevelt Roberts pushing the pace, and I see him getting submission, and I'm honestly going to go with first round submission for Roosevelt Roberts.
I'm going to have to agree. Now, Roosevelt Roberts, when he initially came to the UFC, I was very high on this guy. And then he lost to Vink Pichel. But then I said, I think he's going to learn a lot from this. And he's come around and he's had 2 excellent performances, one against Alexander Yakovlev and then most recently against Brock Weaver. Now, what we know about Roosevelt Roberts, he's tall, he's lanky, and he can do almost anything. He is very good on the feet. He will throw a bunch of jabs. He'll throw a bunch of kicks. He's going to outpoint Jim Miller. But when it goes to the ground, Roosevelt Roberts probably has the best arms I've ever seen for choking. They are very lanky and they're super long. They can glide under an opponent's neck just like that. And that's what we saw multiple times.
Say that again.
They can just go under the neck just like that. It's really hard to defend the chokes, and honestly, Jim Miller's best chance of winning this fight is on the ground, but he doesn't have that advantage this time. He doesn't have an advantage anywhere except for experience. Now, you can never count out a veteran, but I think this time you actually can. I think in a very high certainty, I'm going to go with Roosevelt Roberts first round submission.
Yeah, I've got Roosevelt Roberts because when you look at his record, most of the time when he when you look at Jim Miller's record, most of the time when he goes up against these taller, lankier dudes, he always runs into one problem or another. He always gets choked by a Diaz or kneed by a Hooker or kicked by a Cerrone. Not kneed by a Hooker, kneed by a Hangman.
Kneed by a Hooker. That's funny.
Sorry, Dan. I literally didn't mean to say that.
It's my family name.
So that's my family name. How dare you? I'm gonna fold you like a lawn chair.
He wants to go chasing leprechauns.
Yeah. So I think Roosevelt Roberts is gonna just be a little too quick, a little too good at managing the distance, and I think he's gonna catch Jim Miller. I think he's gonna put him out.
Okay, so not.
And that sucks because it's really hard for me to pick against guys like Jim Miller, a la my Clay Guida pick.
Okay, so now we move on to me. Sorry, just looking at my stats here. So I'm gonna agree with the 3 of you. We're gonna have a unanimous one. I also got Roosevelt Roberts. He's been looking really good lately. His last 2 fights. The dude has some serious submission ability. A fun fact is he has 3 guillotine chokes, And I really see Miller probably going for some takedowns in this fight. So I could really see a guillotine in this fight for Roberts. And, you know, Miller has been submitted 3 times, so it's not like that's an impossible thing to do. Sorry, I just got another phone call. I hung up. But yeah, no, ultimately, I think Roberts is really, you know, I still can't believe it's not even been 3 weeks since he was last in the cage. That's crazy. Still can't get over that. But yeah, I think Roberts, and I'm gonna go Roberts with the submission.
Personally, I do think that if it goes to the ground, I have this vision of Jim Miller just ever since he did that to Clay Guida. I can't get it out of my head. I think that if he gets a hold of Roosevelt's neck, it's done. I don't think Roosevelt can get out of a Jim Miller hold, but the same way that, I mean, both of them are super dangerous on the ground, you know, or not super, but like, I think Jim is more dangerous than his record indicates. Like, he's got submission victories, but his choke is strong.
I think he has more submission victories than anything else.
No, no, but I'm saying like more like he just like, people don't really like, people just look at him as kind of like one of those guys that is just going to bring it in every realm. But dude, his chokes are so scary.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I know he's got more submission victories. That's not what I was saying. I misspoke.
Roberts is probably keeping this fight standing here, especially having a height advantage.
No, I think that Roosevelt gets it done on the feet.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I honestly, like, I really, really could see that. I just think, man, I don't see how Jim Miller could win. You do make a good point about the guillotine. If he dives in with an empty takedown and he can get the guillotine.
Thank you. Yeah.
I do see that. I do see that being definitely a possibility. But I just think if Roosevelt Roberts can use his head in this fight, I don't think he's beatable here. So we're moving on to the next one here. A welterweight matchup. Bilal Muhammad and Lyman Good. This is a pretty good one.
I'm interested to hear what you have to say, Zach. We haven't talked about this at all.
Fresh off of COVID-19, Lyman Good out here. Hopefully
he got COVID?
Yeah.
Shit, I don't think I heard that. I heard a couple fighters did. I know Jacare did. I didn't know he did.
Yeah. So
wow. Okay.
This one kind of shocks me because Lyman Good's coming in as a huge underdog. He's at a 2.15 multiplier.
Oh shit.
I think is a little crazy.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know, man. Looking at Bilal Muhammad's like history, and I don't mean to just look at like history of fighters. He had one rear naked choke in his last fight against Takashi Sato, 3rd round submission. Fights before that, he is on a six straight decision fight, and then he got knocked out, and then he TKO'd Augusto Montano in 2016. Comparing that to Lyman Good is a hard-hitting guy. Very, very hard-hitting welterweight. Former champion with Bellator? So, man, I just think this one's kind of clear for me. The calculator has it at a 66% chance for Lyman Good. I just think he's the harder-hitting guy. I honestly think he would probably even have the submission advantage. He's been submitted once in his career. I don't see Muhammad knocking him out. I just think Lyman Good's going to go out there, and I honestly think he gets a knockout here, and I'm going to go with the 2nd round knockout.
Also, a little fun fact. Little fun fact real quick, Zach, that I noticed. Okay. Is the last guy that Lyman Good beat, Bilal Muhammad also fought Chance Rencounter. Yeah, interesting. I noticed that, but go ahead. Sorry.
So Lyman Good is probably he's one of the guys you should test for USADA almost all the time. The dude is absolutely jacked. And he does hit really hard. But on the ground, he gets lost. I mean, against Demian Maia, to be fair, it's Demian Maia. But Demian Maia, he's had people hang with him before. Lyman Good was out of his element. And then in his other loss, it was a split decision, sure, but to EZDS. Now, Bilal Muhammad I'm a very big fan of Bilal Muhammad. He's one of the more well-rounded fighters in the UFC. What he brings is excellent striking volume, excellent striking defense, good takedowns, not as good a submission game, but he has really good takedown defense as well. Excellent takedown defense at 83%. Now, Bilal Muhammad, he knows how to fight these powerful guys. I mean, he's the only person in the UFC so far to bring Jeff Neal to a decision. Jeff Neal's been knocking everyone out. He brought Jeff Neal to a pretty close decision, and I'm gonna check the scorecards on that. And yeah, okay, one judge gave him a round, but still, it's Jeff Neal. Now, Bilal Muhammad, he has fought some pretty good names.
He has,
and he also has the experience advantage in the UFC. He's 7-2 in the UFC, while Lyman Good is only 3-2. Now, yes, MMA math doesn't always add up, sure, and Lyman Good has to win this fight through his power. That's how he has to win. He can't outpoint Bilal Muhammad, in my opinion. Bilal Muhammad will point him just so easily. And with takedowns and with all those muscles too, Lyman Good can also gas out quickly. So I'm going to go Bilal Muhammad decision. This is one of the more clear fights in the opinion, to me at least. But yeah, that's what we do these shows. We like to hear the differing opinions. But I'm going to go Bilal Muhammad. Remember the name.
I love that nickname. That's a great song. I don't know if you guys know that song. It's
10% luck, 20% skill.
Yes, 100%
concentrated power.
Oh, I gotta listen to that song. I'm listening to that song as soon as this call is done. It's a great song.
Is that Linkin Park?
No, it's
MC
Fort Minor.
Noda.
Fort Minor.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. Fort Minor. I always fuck those up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Bilal. I know Lyman's good, but I just. Oh, God. Look, I'm here all week, folks. Yeah, Bilal's one of those guys that he's a Swiss Army knife. I think he's good everywhere. I think even though he does lose, I think he's got a pretty good mind for the game. I think he's got a good IQ, and I think that he's tough, man. And I think that Bilal gets it done. I'll say decision as well.
Yeah. Once again, Michael's gonna.
And that dude's a wizard on fight picks.
Yeah. So Bilal, definitely, I feel he has fought probably the better guys. I feel like some of the better guys. He's a hard motherfucker to finish. He's got some good cardio. He's got a lot of decision wins, but he's good pace. I feel he's pretty consistent, and his last two performances were pretty impressive, and I think he's definitely got the edge on the ground. So if he mixes up some takedowns in there, yeah, I'm going Bilal decision. This one wasn't too tough for me to pick, but I could see Good pulling it off, but I got Bilal with the decision.
When he wins this, hopefully he'll get on an interview with me. And I know what I didn't realize. I didn't do this the first time.
Oh, cool.
So moving on to the next fight. And by the way, about the whole underdog thing, I don't think that will be the last time I do the underdog. I think I'll probably do it 1 or 2 more times before we finish this off. And that being said, we still only have 3 fights left to go. The next fight is a women's bantamweight fight. Raquel Pennington taking on the 42-year-old Marion Renaud.
God, 42. Good for her.
I will start it off by don't give it away, but I'm gonna lock in that I'm probably an underdog, or I'm probably the little wolf again in this one. I got Marion Renaud, the 42-year-old, taking the win out here. She is known to be a finisher rather than a winning decision. She's only got 1 decision win.
Yeah.
And then going over to Raquel Pennington, she's lost 6 decisions. So she's clearly the type of person to lose decisions, win decisions. So that being said, you would think Raquel Pennington has the advantage in this, but man, looking over the stats that I've looked over, Renaud is just better striking, like in many ways. I just think that, like, obviously Raquel Pennington, she's lost to best of the best, Holly Holm, Jermaine Durand, Amanda Nunes, Holly Holm again, obviously, Jessica Andrade back in 2014, Leslie Smith, Kat Zingano. Those are big names. So you can't really look at her being 10-8 and really count her out after that. But honestly, man, I just feel like Renaud is a more technical striker than her, and I just think that she's just gonna get a decision, and I don't think she finishes Raquel Pennington here. Obviously, she's only had 1 decision, but my gut just tells me that Renaud's going to win this one. And like I said, sucker for an underdog. UFC Calculator has this one at a 54% chance for Marion Renaud. And she's a 2.15 multiplier. Man, if I get all my picks right, I'm gonna be making some money. Let's go. How do you, Zach?
I don't think Raquel Pennington has ever really mentally been the same since the Amanda Nunes fight.
Yeah.
I don't think she should have been allowed to go back out there for that round. And it's kind of reflected ever since that Amanda Nunes fight. She lost force. I don't think she beat Irene Aldana. I think that she was kind of gifted that decision against Irene Aldana, and she's coming off just a real stinker of a performance against that fight. Put me to sleep. Oh my goodness, that was terrible. But, I'm going to have to side with you, Michael. I just don't think Raquel Pennington's head is really in the game anymore. She knows that she can't achieve what, she knows she can't go really any farther where she is now. And Marion Renault, she's at this point where she knows that she doesn't really have anything to lose. She's 42 years old. She's going to go in there and fight. And I think that you made with the good points that she is a better striker, and I think she is better on the ground. So I'm going to give this one to Marion Renault, unanimous decision.
Yeah, you jinxed yourself. Because I'm also going Renault. I think she's dangerous everywhere. I think Raquel Pennington is one of these fighters that, like, Zach made a great point, but I've just never been like, I believe, like, and it sounds so awful to say, but I've never been like, I believe in Raquel Pennington. Like, so, and age doesn't matter that much to me. Like, I don't give a fuck that she's 42 or 41 or whatever. I really don't care, man.
Older is going to look at how they've been finished, and she's never been finished. So, I mean.
Yeah, and she's fought, she's fought some of the best and submitted some of the, like, she's got a submission over Andrade.
And Sarah McMahon.
Submitted Sarah McMahon.
Sarah McMahon, triangle choke, second round.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
I remember Zach saying the best grappler in the women's division.
Yeah.
The best wrestler.
I think Sandy Couture is going to walk out with the win.
All right. So I personally kind of feel like Tisha Torres is going to come out, distract Renault, and then RKO out of nowhere. I'm kidding. Sorry.
I got so confused. I was like,
I'm just fucking around.
What planet am I on?
Okay, so no, this is tough because I feel like Renault has a lot of decision losses, not really many decision wins. Raquel has quite a few decision wins, and so I could, a part of me thinks I could see like this like being a boring ass fight in the clinch, and Raquel maybe like just keeps her in the clinch and maybe, but honestly, I agree. I just don't think that, I don't think Raquel's head's really totally in it now, and I think that, I think Marion's probably, and she's definitely the better striker. She's probably better on the ground. Like, she's dangerous there. So I could actually, I think Marion's going to get just her second decision win. Yeah.
That's a shocker. We all picked her.
Yeah.
After I called being the lone wolf in this one.
Yeah, no, I think Rocky's kind of broken. So, yeah.
Fair enough. So, moving to the co-main event.
I can't wait for this one. Fucking A. I could go on about this one for a while.
Shane Burgos has been a favorite fighter of mine for a while. Yeah. Josh Emmett has been a favorite fighter of mine for a while as well. It's one of those fights where it's like, dang, somebody's got to lose. Man. My first interview with MMA Island was with Josh Emmett, so I'm a big fan of Josh Emmett, but honestly, the big story for me, and they both do have it. They both have a very, very good gas tank, but I think Shane Burgos' gas tank is unmatched in C, I would say.
He's a fan favorite. He's one of the most exciting people to watch in the UFC.
Big time.
And I want to pull this up, but if just Shane Burgos, I just think he's got advantages in a lot of places. When I interviewed Josh Emmett was saying how he would like to show a little bit more of his ground game, and I do think that would be a pretty good thing. But Shane Burgos, 90% takedown defense and 100% takedown accuracy. So, and the stat that leads the most for me is Shane Burgos' significant strikes landed per minute, because he's got 7.09 per minute, which is crazy. So I'm honestly going to have to go with Shane Burgos in this one. And the calculator has this one at a 61% chance. And I remember Atticus out here. I remember you messaging me saying, no. So we'll leave it to you. So, Zach.
So I'm going to have to agree. I'm going to go with Shane Burgos because the thing about Shane Burgos is he's massive for featherweight. He is 5'11" with
just
a
stealing
75
my point.
inch
Go
reach.
ahead, stealing
This
my
is compared
point,
to
Zach.
Josh
I
Emmett.
went first.
He's compared to Josh Emmett, 5'6", 70-inch reach. And the thing about Shane Burgos is his gas tank is also ridiculous. His volume is ridiculous. He's just good at everything. And you see, Josh Emmett, he excels two things: wrestling, power, right? So if he wants to beat Burgos, he has to wrestle him to a decision, but the takedown defense is just so high. So, I mean, he might be the best wrestler he's ever faced, but I don't see him landing that many takedowns, and I don't think he can get in on Burgos to knock him out.
Yeah, that's the thing, because Josh Emmett's obviously like he hasn't really had the chance to show his wrestling ability. But I think Josh Emmett puts up a fight. I didn't get my pick for the decision or finish or whatever, but I'm gonna go with the decision for Burgos. I think both of these guys have great gas tanks, and I just don't see anybody getting clipped and knocked out. And I do think it's a very, very fun fight. Sorry to cut you off there.
Good, man. And Burgos, he has that range. He will keep Emmett far. He will use his leg kicks. He'll use his jab, and Josh Emmett will get frustrated. And that's what's going to lead to my pick. I'm going to say Shane Burgos by unanimous decision. I just think he has the right game plan, the right size, the right abilities to be the perfect foil for Josh Emmett. So Burgos decision.
Yeah, I think the range and the size difference are going to just, like, those are the hugest things for me, as well as Shane Burgos' statistical advantages. I think that Josh Emmett, while he's explosive and dangerous and skilled, I think Shane Burgos is actually going to catch him. I think he's going to put him out. I'd say round 3 later.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm lone wolf on this one. I think Josh Emmett's gonna knock him out. I really.
That's good. That's good for the show.
I honestly, yeah. Yeah, Shane Burgos has had a pretty, he's pretty impressive. He's 13-1, but I look at the level of competition between them. Macklin, Amirkhani,
Beast.
that was a good performance, but I don't think I really compare him to Emmett. He had a really close fight against Cub Swanson and Kurt Hollenbow. I'm not even totally sure who that guy is. Is he with UFC still? I
don't think so. Anyway.
Yeah, so I'm just not, I'm a guy who looks at like levels of competition a lot of the times, and yeah, Burgos is a lot taller, but Emmett's fought some guys who are bigger than him too. Emmett used to fight in lightweight too, right? I think his first fight featherweight was Ricardo Lamas.
Yeah, he talked to me about moving up to lightweight.
Yeah, and he knocked Lamas out, and he pretty much slapped Bektik with a jab. He dropped him with a jab, and the dude's just got insane power. He's got good cardio, and I just am more impressed with the level of competition that he's faced and beat than Burgos. And yeah, I think Burgos is going to get knocked out in the second round.
Oh shit, love it.
Yeah.
Main event time.
Yeah, the main event of the evening. I would bring out my Bruce Puffer impression, but I'm only doing that for the big cards. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
So, Curtis Blaydes, Alexander Volkov. I'm going to call it right now. None of you are calling Volkov to win this one.
I am.
All of you fools.
I got Volkov winning this one.
Don't
Volkov.
speak for me. You'll never know what I think.
I got Volkov winning this one, and there are a few reasons why. So I think the first thing people think about when they think of Volkov, striking wise, first thing they think of is probably Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis knocking him out cold. When people think of striking losses with Curtis Blaydes, they think of Francis Ngannou knocking him out. People don't, and I'm not saying that this is really a good point, but it's just something I think people don't realize is that Blaydes was knocked out more recently than Volkov, so you can't say, Volkov doesn't have the chin for him because Volkov's been knocked out twice in his career. One of them obviously was the Derek Lewis knockout, and the one before that is back in 2013. So I think Volkov is a great striker, and an underrated thing is because Volkov was winning the fight against Derek Lewis until the knockout. Looking at Curtis Blaydes, so we're going to Curtis Blaydes. He is the type of guy, and I'm not going to say he's one-dimensional because he really isn't. I do think he's an underrated striker, but his automatic game plan is take you down and ground and pound you. He doesn't, and it's crazy because he does have a lot of takedowns on his resume, but he has 0 submissions. Reasoning for that is in ways he's a wrestling based type fighter. He likes to pin you in positions, hold you there, and if he can get an opening to strike and ground and pound and knock you out, that's what he's going to do. He's been shown to be very good at it. He also had the knockout recently of Junior Dos Santos. The way I see it is I could see Volkov knocking out Junior Dos Santos. I just think that there are reasons Volkov could win, and I just don't think that nothing else really plays a difference other than that. I think Volkov has underrated takedown defense, and I do think he's also underrated on the ground in general. Being a veteran as well, I do see him having advantages to get up even if he is taken down. I just see him being the smarter fighter, and Curtis Blaydes kind of just going for his game plan the whole fight, and I don't think he'll be able to get it. I think Volkov wins this one by decision, and the UFC calculator has it at 60%, and it's a 3.8 times multiplier, so I am trying to make some damn cash tonight. Well, Saturday, but you know what I mean. Go ahead, Zach.
So I don't think Volkov has a chance, if I'm being completely honest. I've just everything I've seen from Curtis Blaydes shows me that he's legit. His ground and pound is hellacious. Those elbows rain down on you like boulders from the sky. They will cut you open. They will destroy you. And the thing is, he has only been stopped by Ngannou, and that's a first-round knockout. No one has actually beaten Curtis Blaydes over within a long fight, and it's because I don't think they can. Curtis Blaydes is so dominant. He showed that he didn't even need to use his wrestling to knock out JDS. He has power. He has the better technique, and the thing is, what makes people so afraid of Curtis Blaydes is he can take them down at will. He will pick you up, he will slam you down, and he will just rain hell upon you. I think Volkov, he hasn't really fought a wrestler to his caliber. Sure, he's fought Verdum, but Verdum's not really a wrestler. Curtis Blaydes, he's the best wrestler in the heavyweight division. He might be the best wrestler of the heavyweight division. Maybe, I don't know if he's the best wrestler in the heavyweight division has ever seen, but he is by far up there. And just everything he does, he hasn't really shown a weakness. I mean, besides Ngannou, but Ngannou's a weakness to everybody.
It's freezing out there.
Yeah, he was.
Okay, well, we'll pass it on to Steven for now and see if he comes back. But so Steven, go ahead and you can make a pick.
Yeah, I've got Volkov, and the thing is, I just think, and I go back and forth on what I think range and height means for folks, but like for matchups. But Curtis Blaydes has never fought someone nearly as tall as Volkov, and in heavyweight, I think it makes a difference. Length and raw power is why Volkov gets a lot of knockouts, and I don't think he's going to knock Curtis Blaydes out, but I think it's going to be a come down to earth fight for Curtis Blaydes. I think Volkov is going to redeem himself, and I think he's going to show that he's also a force to be reckoned with in the division. So get fucked, Zach.
All right, yeah, I'm with Zach again. I think that Curtis Blaydes. 2-on-2. I think that Curtis Blaydes. I think that he is by far the best wrestler Volkov's faced. Even Verdum, who's not the caliber wrestler that, he's good. He's great on the ground, but not really a wrestler. He was taking Volkov down quite a bit. And Volkov was having some problems defending takedowns from Verdum, and that was a 5-round fight. Like, Verdum would have won that fight most likely if it was just 3 rounds. And Curtis Blaydes is shown to have better.
It was a 5-round fight though. He got knocked out.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying this is 5 rounds too. But Blaydes does have better cardio, in my opinion, than Verdum, and I don't see him really.
And then
has Curtis Blaydes in his career been full 5 rounds though? I'm not sure. I know he's been booked for 5 rounds, but
no, he hasn't.
Okay, well that'll be interesting, but I do feel like Curtis Blaydes will have enough stamina to fight the pace that he usually fights. And I think he's underrated as a striker. Like, yeah, JDS was defending his takedowns, but I don't think Curtis was going super hard for all those takedowns. I feel like he was just kind of trying to give JDS, make him less concerned about the striking, because I don't think JDS was thinking he was going to get knocked out like that in that fight. He was probably just expecting all wrestling. And I think that Curtis can hang with Volkov on the feet. And yeah, ultimately, I think he has got some insane ground and pound, and he's got some power on the feet. And I think, do I think he's going to get Volkov out of there?
Second round TKO. my pick. I don't think I said
I think Blaydes can get him out of there in the 4th round.
I will say I do think Blaydes is the better fighter, but
Most
I think Volkov's going to get it done.
Future heavyweight champion.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a bad matchup for Blaydes. I just think Volkov Volkov is a very, very underrated striker. And I do think he kind of pushes the pace a little bit more than Blaydes. And I think Volkov's also underrated in takedown defense and in grappling ability, all in all. And being a veteran and having a fight.
But we'll see. I've been wrong before, of course. So.
Dang, man, with all these underdogs, I'm going to be buying a VR set, buying a car. Oh, man, I can't wait. I'm just playing. But this is probably the most underdogs I've ever picked for a fight, so hopefully I'll cash out with this. But I think we have what are we doing? Are we doing the performance and fight of the night as well as we did last time?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
All right, so so I guess I'll go first then.
Yeah.
So performance. I can't even remember who I picked to win of these. I'll go performance to Lyman Good and Roseville Roberts, and then I will go with fight of the night. I think I'm just gonna go with Josh Emmett, Shane Burgos, and I think if I were to have to pick a close second, I would honestly say Clay Guida, Bobby Green, but I'm gonna go with Josh Emmett, Shane Burgos.
So I think the 50 Gs for performance are going to slide to Curtis Blaydes and Roosevelt Roberts.
Okay.
And fight of the night, Coming. Burgos Emmett.
Nice.
Okay, nice.
I think that Brianna Van Buren's going to make her UFC debut and get a performance bonus and start to get spoiled off the 50s on her first night out.
Is that her debut? UFC debut?
No, Livia.
Oh shit, really?
Yep.
No, it's not her UFC debut.
Really?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, she fought Livia Renata Souza. My bad.
Yeah.
I thought she was this. Yeah, my bad. But I think that this is the first time that she's like super been on my radar.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I thought that. Excuse me, audience. But yeah, I think that Brianna Van Buren's going to get a bonus. I think Roosevelt Roberts is going to get a bonus, and I think the Clay Guida Bobby Green fight is fight of the night. Yeah.
All right, fight of the night: Roxanne Modafferi. Lord, I'm kidding.
Hey.
Can you imagine if they just? Oh, no, I'm just kidding. No.
Hey,
What about Diego Sanchez, Clay
Guida with
Guida?
50 Gs.
What was that, sorry?
Comes out as Clay Guida and Diego Sanchez.
No, okay. So I'm gonna go actually for my fight of the night. I'm gonna go with Guida and Green. In my first performance, I'm gonna go with Roberts. I think he's gonna get a good submission. I think guillotine. I really feel he might get the guillotine. Or an RNC, but and I'm going another performance, Josh Emmett. I'm fucking confident that he's gonna knock Burgos out, man.
I think you get that interview then if he knocks him out.
Yeah, I fucking want to interview Emmett if he knocks him out. Yeah, I want to have that. That would be fun.
To be contrarian, I'm gonna change my fight of the night pick.
Oh God, okay.
To sound smart. Austin Hubbard and Max. The first fight of the night is fight of the night.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Fair enough. Well,
Right.
We appreciate you guys watching, and let us know your input in the comments as well. Hopefully we get it done early enough. And another thing, I think this is underrated. Hopefully all the fights happen, because with people missing weight and people.
Nobody's gonna miss weight this time.
Yeah.
Hot take. All right, there we go.
Into existence.
I think someone will miss weight.
Silence.
All right,
no.
let's all make a guess on who.
Oh, geez. Okay.
I don't know who. Who has a history of missing weight?
I think Lyman Good misses weight.
Has he missed weight? Does he have a history of that?
I don't know.
I say Lauren Murphy misses weight.
That would be fucking. That would be funny.
Because it seems like most like a lot of like WMMA fighters miss weight. It seems like
It
they
does.
miss
Actually,
yeah.
It does. I think it's because women struggle to lose weight more.
Yeah,
maybe
the weight cuts are a lot tougher. So
yeah.
yes, why
they
not?
are, yeah.
I could see Camacho missing weight.
Maybe.
Possible. He fought at 170.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. Like we said, we got some miss weight predictions as well.
Yeah, I can see Murphy as well. Actually, I think that's an interesting one.
All right. Well, tune back and see how much of an idiot we look like. And if someone's gonna look like an idiot the most, I assume it'll be me. But
could be me. But
regardless, we appreciate you guys watching. And tune into the next Fight Picks video. Like I said, we're hoping
thanks
to have
for watching, guys.
But thank you guys again for watching, and we'll see you later. Peace.